Hey everybody. So right now we're going to start talking about setting up a parallel circuit in TinkerCAD. So we have the same resistor values here. We have a 10 kilo ohm and we have a 5 kilo ohm resistor. And again, for the sake of this lab, resistance lab 2, you're going to first need to calculate the total resistance for this circuit. So remember, parallel is 1 divided by resistance total is equal to 1 divided by resistor 1 plus 1 divided by resistor 2. So in this case, it's 1 divided by resistance total is equal to 1 over 10,000 plus 1 over 5,000. When you calculate for this side of the circuit, you're going to come up with 0.0003. And again, you're not done with that because you still have to get resistance total by itself. So you can either cross multiply or you can hit the x to the -1 button, or type in 1 divided by answer. And that will come up with resistance total is equal to 3,333.333 repeating ohms, or we can convert that to be 3.3 kilo ohms. So again, when we're calculating for parallel, total resistance is always going to be less than the smallest resistor. So in this case, the smallest resistor is 5. The answer is 3,333. So that is less than. So we can be pretty confident that that's correct. I know it's correct, but as you're moving forward here. So here we're starting off with like that, basically what we left off with. So I still have my 5,000 ohm resistor, and I still have my 10,000 ohm resistor. So again, things are connected together down these slots. So before it was like one after the other here. For parallel circuits, it's simply going to be, they're going to go in the same rows. Okay, so this is going to be in row 1, this is going to be in row 5. And again, like the rows don't really matter. It could be in row like 15 and 20 or whatever, but it just matters that in parallel, they're both starting in the same row and they're both ending in the same row. Again, I am going to search for a multimeter, and I'm going to pull this in here. Again, I'm going to set it to be a resistance, an ohm meter. And off of the negative side, I'm going to put a black wire in. And off of the positive side, I'm going to put a red wire in, okay? And I'm just connecting these to where the resistors begin and end, okay? So because electrons will come out, they'll split up. Some of them will go down the 10K resistor. Most of them will go down the 5K resistor. In total, we should be getting 3,300 ohms of resistance, and then they're going to go back to the positive lead and into here. So again, like the multimeter is kind of replacing where the battery is positioned in our lab. So again, battery, multimeter, you can kind of say 2 test wires. One of the wires is going down here, one of the wires is going down here. You could almost say that this is like rotated 90 degrees over here. It's like vertical. So when I hit start simulation, once again, now we're measuring 3.33 kilo ohms for our resistance. And once again, you guys would go through and hit Control, Shift, and the Windows button on the top of your Chromebooks to get a screen capture. On PC here, I'm going to use my sniffing tool. I'm going to say New. I'm going to snag this. And I'm going to save this so that I can put it in later on. I have like my series circuit example there. This is going to be my parallel circuit example. You might just be able to like copy and paste these into, but there's that. Okay, now again, if I had multiple resistors, let's stop my simulation. Let's delete this and let's pull in some more resistors. Let's say I had multiple resistors, a lot of them. So let's do that, so on and so forth here. So let's just say I had a bunch of these. These are all 1,000 ohm resistors. So I'm going to drop this down here. I'm going to drop this like down here. And then like all of a sudden I've run out of slots to connect things, okay? And I still need to connect this in parallel. If I were just to connect this down here, It's not connected above. So what I'm going to do, if I have more than this, is I'm going to drop this down to the slot below. And I'm simply going to take a wire and I'm going to connect over the gap. All right. And now if I were to start my simulation, our resistance is 303 ohms, which it should be really small because these are all 1000 ohm resistors. So that kind of makes sense. But that's the way that we would add more than we have slots for. Okay. So once again, that is connecting up a parallel circuit in TinkerCAD.